Okay, so we have covered many things now, right? But not many things. So we know that what is marketing, what is research, what is marketing research, where it comes, why it is important, what are the different types. Now what is the process? What is the marketing research process? There are 6 steps, and this, what is shown to you, it is combination of both problem identification and problem solving. Both opportunity identification and opportunity solving combined in the 6 steps. The first one is defining the problem. When you go to the doctor with symptoms, doctor would have to identify the cause, right, or probable cause, because doctor cannot, for every patient they won't give tests based upon their experience. They will think, okay, this is this bacteria gram negative, gram positive, or this bacteria, that bacteria. There are different types of bacteria, right? So this bacteria, that bacteria, virus or whatever, they would have their own. So defining the problem, step number 1. Second is developing an approach to the problem. Now what is this animal? Developing an approach to the problem. Problem identification is itself very difficult. Then you have to develop an approach to the problem. We will come to that, what is that, but it is mainly related to making the problem precise by breaking it down into simple components. The third one is formulating a research design, which means making a research plan of what you are going to do. But let me start. Defining the problem is when the symptoms are there, one will figure out what are the probable problems. Second is developing an approach to the problem is breaking the problem into hypotheses or research questions. Step number 3 is formulating a research design. Research design is a blueprint of from whom you are going to collect data, where you are going to collect data, when you are going to collect data, what will be the questions, what will be your survey, who will be your field staff and everything. That is research design. Step number 4 is going to the field and collecting the data, which looks very easy when it is written, but it's very difficult. Sometimes when you go to the mall without permission, security will come to greet you to the door. Step number 5 is once you have data, you have to clean the data. Nobody will give you cooked data, everything ready. So we have to clean the data. Sometimes my wife would say clean the house, I would say no, I am cleaning the data. That is more easy. So clean the data and then analyze the data. The last one is preparing and presenting the findings in the report. So all these, this is a 6. Systematic means each step has to be planned, documented, methodologically sound. Objective means the researcher biases should be kept away. In quantitative, researcher biases can be easily kept away, but qualitative it becomes difficult. What is qualitative, quantitative? A quick idea of qualitative is we collect qualitative data which is in the form of words, paragraphs, essays. We conduct interviews, focus groups and collect the data in the form of words, essays, sentences, paragraphs and so on. Quantitative, the data is in the form of numbers. So qualitative is non-numbers. Okay. So the first one is problem definition. I have already spoken about it, right? Problem definition is when you move from symptom to probable problem. Simple, this whatever is written, if you don't read it, it is fine. Understand, but it is going from symptom to probable problem. It can be done very easily. We will teach you one of the methods of doing that when the data is available on the internet. Second is developing an approach to the problem, which means once you have probable problem is generally big, you have to break it. So that cutting the big problem into small components, that is developing an approach to the problem. Again, whatever is written, you can discount it at this point of time, because slowly we will understand it. Once the big problem is broken down in the second step into small problems, which could be represented through research questions or hypothesis. Third one is formulating a research design, which means a plan how we are going to test the hypothesis. A plan of from whom to collect data, how much to collect, where to collect, when to collect, why to collect, and so on. And the questionnaire and or whatever method, experiments and so on. The fourth one is actually going to the field and collecting the data. So sometimes you have to call up through phone, you have to take appointment and then go and wait and then collect data. Sometimes when the data is sensitive, if you are standing and looking at that, then they will not fill the right data. So there are a lot of nuances are there. Suppose the data is about the some information about accidents, how many times you have been involved in accidents and so on. And you have given the questionnaire to the respondent and you are standing there. They would not actually fill in the right way. Or suppose the questionnaire is about hygiene. The first question is, have you taken bath today? Suppose I float this questionnaire now. So there are a lot of nuances when the field work is done. Lot of nuances are there. So this is doing field work or collecting data. It's a lot of nuances are there. So that's why all the collecting data is a science as well as a little art. Especially quantitative data, still you can control. Qualitative data collecting is real art. Where you would have to use certain stops, certain fillers. Like somebody says, I do this because of this. Can you explain? So you have to use different things in order to make others speak. And in marketing, one of the major thing is listening. One has to develop a lot of listening skills. Only speaking is not. When I became teacher, professor, I am giving sessions and so on. I might have also lost this skill of listening. But it is very important. Please develop it. And then once the data is collected, that is called raw data. So when you get the vegetables, raw vegetables, what you do? You wash, clean. Sometimes they are dipped in, some cleaner is put in the water, and a lot of people were doing that in the COVID times. Vegetables came, pour salt in the water and dip the vegetables. Raw data, you have to clean the data before you analyze. If you do not clean the data and try to analyze it, the results will be likely will not be correct. And for whomever you are conducting that research, they will suffer because of that. Because generally when the market research is done, the bigger amounts are at stake. The last one is preparing and presenting the report. That you people know very well. So these are the 6 steps of the marketing research process. Let us quickly see a marketing research process example which is also there in your textbook. I have just put it in a very neat way, step wise, so that you could understand when you will be conducting it in your project, how it has to be done, and throughout the course how we are going to move. So this is an example of Toyota company. They noticed an opportunity in the younger generation Y crowd, where Toyota had a relatively small market share. So the business issue for Toyota can be put as how to cater to the younger generation Y crowd. This is something they are sensing from the business trends, and they want to cater to the younger generation Y crowd. So they have identified an opportunity that should we go after generation Y crowd instead of, so they would have confirmed through market share data that opportunity is real. So once opportunity is identified, they are going to see how to utilize the opportunity. So the problem definition for their business issue, which is how to cater to the younger generation Y crowd, is determine the factors which gives a youth oriented image about the car to the younger generation Y car buyers. This is one of the ways to state the marketing research problem. This is the opportunity example, not the problem one. We will also come to the problem one. So once this problem is stated, in the problem definition step itself, you have to simplify it by breaking it into some components. What criteria, features do the younger generation Y car buyers use when selecting a car? Component 2 is how do the younger generation Y car buyers feel about their cars? Are they all motivated by the same appeal? The third one is there can be more components. Just for the sake of demonstration, I have put only 3 components. So the problem is in first step itself broken down into components. In the second step, the components will be broken down into research questions and research questions into hypothesis. So if you look at research question 1, so it is about the component 1. Do the younger generation Y car buyers look for compact car? And hypothesis for this is younger generation Y car buyers prefer compact car. This is a hypothesis which has to be tested after we frame the research design and collect the data. Likewise, you will break the components into research questions and research questions into hypothesis. Once it is done, now again it is only a small sample is shown of what was actually done. The third is you formulate a research design. In this case, a research design, a cross-sectional, you need not understand at this point of time, but cross-sectional, just to small idea, it is done in a single duration of time, in a single cross-section of time. Both qualitative research and surveys were done. They were planned, and in the step number 3, research design is, there were questionnaires that were made, which are called surveys, and qualitative interviews were also planned. In step number 4, the surveys were administered, the qualitative research was conducted. Step number 5, data was analyzed and data was cleaned and analyzed. Step number 6, they got the findings that generation Y crowd wanted compact cars with features such as 160-watt stereo, cell phone holders, plush seats, and plenty of customization. So this was their findings, which was presented to Toyota. So this stepwise one has to move from problem definition to another example. This was the opportunity. Let us go to one example for the problem definition. So this was a situation which a particular company, Singular, was facing. Singular Wireless was formed. This was in the first paragraph. Just the introduction about the company is given. So Singular Wireless, it was formed in October 2000, and it has as of 2006 it had 50 million subscribers. Now in the beginning years, Singular encountered difficulty in launching its products and services, and initial sales did not meet management's expectation. So in the beginning years, when it was launched, it had a problem because sales were not, when they were launching their products, the initial sales were not meeting expectation, and then a problem audit was conducted. Problem audit, which means symptom was sales were not meeting expectation, sales were low. So a problem identification research was done, which identified the real problem as lack of image. And then the problem solving research was done for confirming and solving the problem, wherein they said, so the marketing research problem was defined as measuring the awareness, perceptions and image of singular. And focus groups and telephone survey were done to identify, to confirm the cause and to solve, to how to get out of that brand image. The results indicated that telecommunications company that enabled customers to express themselves was perceived very positively, which means their image should be moved to help customer express themselves in order to make customers think positive about their brands. And this is how it is. If I have to write it, again it is a sample of the questions that I have written. Management problem, which means the symptom. When we say management problem, this is a business issue, or the symptom is how to increase the sales of singular product and services. That was the symptom. From then some problem audit was done. We will come to the next session when I talk about problem audit, and it was identified that it is probably the lack of image. And then once the probable cause is identified, problem solving research came up, where the 6 steps. First, problem definition, determine the awareness and image of singular brand. This is the first step. Because awareness and image both are part of this problem, it is broken down into simple components. The problem statement itself is a little complex one. In this case, determine the awareness and image of singular brand. Whenever you are breaking such a problem, you have to definitely, one of the components has to be about the customers, understanding what are their demographics and psychographics, which is also there, and are they motivated by a similar kind of appeals? Can they be segmented in a different way or meaningful way? How are they segmented? They have to be part of the components irrespective of the problem. But then you have to break down the problem into simple components, like one component could be about awareness, other could be about image, and so on. As you see, the problem is broken down into components. Now this you will have to do throughout the course. That is why I am just giving you an overview of what will be done, and you will be able to write all this on your own. And what is the advantage of doing all that? The advantage you can see right from the grassroots level. How? Let's say if you go back to your hometown, or even if you just stroll around here, comes to any shop, and the shop owner is your friend, says that my sales are not picking up, people are not buying. Can you help? What is the process? If you have done this course, you would be able to help that. You would be able to do a initial bit of research to identify, to tell him that this could be a problem. So right from the grassroots level, some shop near your house, some friend's business, to big businesses, you can use this process. So in this case, marketing research problem is defined, it is broken down into components. Then components were broken down into research questions and hypothesis. Again, this is just, as I said, it is a sample of I have broken down into. If I do it fully, it will be pretty long, which we will take up in the second session. And similar to, so whatever the situation was given in the first page, I have just written it systematically. I have written it, step by step, how research was conducted, a sample of it. So some of the quick things, Is it always that one has to conduct the market research for the small problem, big problems? So there is a small flow chart. Whenever you have to conduct market research, extensive market research with the, or detailed market research, most of the time you will have to do market research, but depends upon most of the time you will have to do market research for your questions, for your problems, but which has to be conducted in a detailed and a big manner can be decided through this flow chart. The first one is sufficient time available? If no, then do not conduct market research for a particular problem or opportunity. The second one, if yes, if information that is already available inside the company in-house, if it is adequate, then do not conduct market research. If no, next. Is the decision strategic or tactical? This is also, what is strategic? What is tactical? You have done strategic management? No. Oh, she has done. Okay, is the decision strategic or tactical? Strategic. The term strategy will be misused. Long time in MBA, everybody will use exam strategy, this strategy, that strategy. Here, what I mean to say, is the decision involve large amount of resources? Are the decisions irreversible? Are the decisions being taken at the senior level in the management? That include the strategic decisions. Those decisions that do not involve good amount of resources, that can be reversed, they are called tactical, right? So is the decision strategic or tactical? And if it is strategic, then benefits minus cost analysis. Are the benefits that we are going to get through market research exceed the cost? The cost would be, let's say, for a big market research 50 lakhs, the benefits could be in 500 crores, then definitely there is a huge, right? But the market research also has to be done fast, because let's say if you take 2 months, your competitor might launch the similar kind of product for which you are conducting the research. So there are a lot of ifs and buts are there. And then if everything, all the boxes are right, then conduct the formal big market research. Otherwise, small market research, which means not as time and money and effort and money involving, that you have to anyways do.
So if it is tactical decision, then we may skip marketing, that big marketing research.
Yeah, the idea is do not skip market research, but whether you want to conduct in a detailed, extensive manner or a small manner, that depends whether it is strategic or tactical. Just the last one, qualities of a good researcher. You can be probably, so the good researcher helps the manager to understand the problem and select among the viable alternatives. Again, what it is, not much time is left, but I will just show you some images that you can quickly understand. So structuring the analysis is very, very important. A good researcher should be able to structure the analysis. Like in this case, the cat is there stuck there. So the problem is how to get her. So all this, so structured analysis. And the most important is, do not fit problem into the technique. Let's say you know the survey technique. Don't try to fit the problem into technique. Try to fit the technique into the problem. So we will understand this as we move ahead. I think this much is enough. There is, and this one, good communication skills, because sometimes the manager would say something, the researcher would understand something else, and altogether it will be different. What the customer wanted and what the marketing delivered is lack of communication. So So I end this session here. I think we will move step by step very slowly. Well, so thank you everybody and have a good day ahead. Thank you.